Hi there. Today we are back with another interview. We have Jon Gillespie-Brown, the founder and CEO of Nalpeiron, with us. Thank you, John, for joining us today.
A pleasure.
John, I know that Nalpeiron has been in business for 20 years now. What a staple. That's amazing. And primarily all that time with just one primary product, ZenTitle. Is that correct?
It is.
And can you just tell us a brief description on what ZenTitle is for the viewers?
Sure, no problem. Yeah, Zen title, as you say, around for 20 years, obviously, and been iterated on a great deal over that time. A long story short, Zen title is a software license management and entitlement management platform. Software license management really harks to on-prem, desktop, and IoT hardware kind of products. They need very specialist dark site, offline, encryption and specialist components to operate effectively, particularly in secure environments. Entitlement management refers really more to SaaS companies or mobile apps or applications essentially that are lighter weight in the browser or on the phone that really need security through the use of APIs. And so our platform is entirely driven by APIs, is highly resilient, has 100 million activations on it, is used by billions of dollars worth of protected revenue. So that's what essentially it is. It's a monetization platform, enables customers to put a product on and then price, package, and deliver those applications securely to users. They could be corporate users, right, in a dark side, or they could be just an individual consumer. And we manage all of the rights there to enable that customer to receive what they have purchased. That's what an entitlement is. And to secure that so that they obviously only get what they paid for. And then we provide analytics and other capabilities to our customers so they can manage all those relationships.
And I know that essentially off the bat, you guys were a pioneer in cloud-based licensing. Can you tell me about what that experience was like and what made you go that route of cloud-based when it was much less common than it is today?
Yeah, 20 years ago, most people probably don't understand what the tech stack was like. It's very, very different today. Obviously, no phones. And back in the day, it wasn't called cloud, it was called ASP. But back in the day, the problem was simple. You had to have a lot of servers and a lot of cost, and every individual customer had to buy all those servers and load all the software and have a whole department, right, to manage all of that. And so the concept at the time essentially was to say, well, let's host all that infrastructure in the cloud on behalf of customers. And today we call that multi-tenant. And doing that essentially did two things for customers. One, the innovation was okay, now we can save a huge amount of cost and time and effort and maintenance and license fees and all sorts of other things because we can just sign up to this thing in the cloud and it's all done for us. So that was the real big innovation that we created back in the day. And in addition to that, we provided a whole range of tools and encryption and other clever things, which at the time were very rudimentary. So my co-founder was the first one to write a thesis on software license management and the first one to create extremely robust encryption. And we also invented a number of processes. So, unlike our competition, we have two issued US software patents, which are very, very hard to get. And that just talks to the amount of time and effort and innovation we put into that platform. And I guess why we're still here 20 years later.
I can only imagine how much one product could evolve over 20 years, especially with the rapid changes in technology. Can you just point out a few of the biggest benefits and lessons that you've learned that ZenTitle solves through working with companies that you've sold to over the past 20 years?
Wow, big question. A huge evolution has happened, obviously, over that time. Don't need to remind all of the audience. In essence, today, instead of just operating and solving problems for people that had servers or desktop, which is kind of what they were back in the day, enterprise software, what we now refer to as on-premise software. Software is now predominantly on a cell phone or on a tablet or in a cloud environment. And so what we've done is adapt over time to ensure that we can offer all of those situations. The other huge change is something called IoT, right? Or hardware vendors, people that make hardware. 20 years ago, you just made 20 versions of a piece of hardware. Today, you make one version of a piece of hardware and you use Nalpeiron to control the 20 different flavors of the same hardware. So our intellectual property will allow people to basically streamline their manufacturing of hardware. And the benefit we have is what we call one pane of glass. That means that it doesn't really matter whether you're making hardware, software, on-prem software, mobile apps, SaaS apps, and often our customers make a blend of these things, right? They're growing their products. Many of them are becoming SaaS, but they still have old style products. All of those run on the platform. So to answer your question, we've just essentially innovated consistently over time, and then we're launching new products. And of course, today we incorporate AI in our tools as well to enable our customers to basically use the very cutting edge technology that's available.
Yeah, it sounds like, based off what you just told me, it sounds like flexibility, right? The ability to work with multiple different companies who have multiple different software types. Flexibility has been the key differentiator for you guys. And I'm sure that's going to only be applied further in the future. Can you tell me just a little bit about what your vision is for ZenTitle going forward?
Yeah, I think the main thing that people should be aware of, and I'm sure they are, is that AI is going to eat their lunch. So, what do we do about that? And what is it driving in terms of changes in our industry? And the main difference between us and our competitors is that we offer a monetization platform driven by analytics and AI. And so, what we can do to help our customers is to allow them to be very, you mentioned the word flexible, in their business models, very, very fast, very, very agile in monetization. What that basically means is that in order to remain competitive, our customers, software ISVs, must consistently change their way they sell and package their product for their customer. I'll give you an example. Only a few months ago, the whole world changed upside down and has become very consumption driven because people buying AI want to do it by the query. They don't want to buy seats, they don't want to buy features, they just want to query, right? And pay based on consumption. And that's what we would call a consumption model. Suddenly, all the software vendors on the planet are being asked by their customers, where's your consumption model? How are you going to sell me on the basis of consumption? I don't want to pay for seats I'm not using or kind of a subscription that isn't all encompassing. I want a different methodology. What a monetization platform like us does is it enables the engineering team to write to our platform, and it allows the product team to configure based on our platform. What does that mean? It means instead of two things. One, waiting 6 months for the engineering team to say, sure, I figured out how to do consumption models. We can do that in a weekend now. And what does it do? It stops all that wasted time and energy from the engineering team on innovation. They need to build great products as fast as possible. They do not need to be managing the monetization of their products. So we exist in that gap where the product team wants to be able to innovate, change the price, package, offer different models like this, and the engineering team who can write once to our platform and then get on with their job. And so that is really the main benefit of what we offer and bring to the market alongside a lot of other tools to enable growth.
So, for clarification for viewers out there, all it takes is the product team to go in. They don't even have to get any engineers involved in order to change pricing models. I know that's a huge issue for people. but I just want to point that out because it seems like such a big benefit going forward. Just the product team.
Yep, the main benefit is, and there are a long list of them, but the main benefit is agility and speed. There's nothing stopping the engineering team doing this. It's just they're really busy doing other things. So if you connect and remove the engineering team's need to run all of that infrastructure that enables the pricing, the packaging, the different kind of business models, and you use a third party like Nalpeiron, then the product team are enabled to make changes over a weekend, not over a 6 month period. And in order to be competitive, you need to be that quick, right? If your primary competitor changes their price and they package differently from one week to the next, you must respond immediately or you will be toast. That is the law.
And currently, what are some of the most common pitfalls that companies face when trying to change their pricing or their monetization strategy? Is it mainly just the amount of time that it'll take that'll lead them to fall behind?
The main challenge is that most SaaS companies built their monetization bit by bit from when they were a startup. So they have a kind of scrappy, messy, engineered, hard coded set of components in their products. And if you want to change, say, for example, I would like to add a new price tier, or I would like to change the features that are in each of price tier, I'd like to be able to offer a modern AI kind of methodology for being able to sell. I have to recode all of that. That is, and it's like spaghetti, basically. You've got 10 years worth of this stuff all wrapped up in your product. And what we do is we're like a piece of middleware. We cut through the spaghetti. The engineering team writes once to our platform. Our platform provides an interface to the product team, nice and clear and non-technical. So you got speed, you got agility, and essentially freedom for the business to be able to focus on two things. One, product team needs to be able to innovate and deliver on the pricing packaging you told me about. And the engineering team needs to just be able to get on with life. And they've written this thing once to our platform, and then they don't have to think about it. That there's no longer a queue outside their door saying, please change the packaging this week and next week and next month, and I'd like this feature. It drives the engineering team nuts. And of course, the product team hate waiting. And the C suite is like, our biggest competitor came out with consumption-based pricing this week. How are we going to do that? Right? And now there's a big diversion and a waste of time trying to figure out how to engineer it when with a couple of clicks of a button, they could offer it in a weekend by using a monetization platform like the Nalpeiron growth platform.
I think this is so important because, like you mentioned, the monetization strategy of pay-per consumption that it seems like AI is taking us toward, a lot of business owners aren't quite aware of this yet. And with that being said, there's probably other pricing strategies out there that AI will lead us toward that we're not even, that's not on people's radars nowadays. Um, but I just thought it was extremely interesting that you brought up the pay per consumption. Are there any other sort of routes that you could see us headed with the implementation of AI?
Well, let's just talk about us for a second. Our platform incorporates AI on a number of different levels, and there's a whole load of more coming. Our policy on AI is to supercharge our customer, not replace our customer. But there is a lot that goes on in our industry which is a waste of time. And if you take, say, Zengain as a great example, if I'm engaging in sales with a client, there's quite a bit of work I generally have to do in B2B sales before I can engage with that client. Quite a bit of research, trying to figure out what's going on. And then subsequently, when they are using the product, figuring out what engagement levels, probably multiple tools. And the great thing about AI, when it's done and innovated correctly, is it can remove a lot of that work to allow the sales team to focus. So in our case, we're looking not to replace sales teams or SDRs, but to make the stuff that they hate doing every day more efficient and to allow them to use their human ability to communicate to customers more effectively with data, real-time data at their fingertips. That is a great benefit of the innovation of AI. And uh, we obviously use it internally for similar reasons. So as we move forward, a lot of the kind of drudgery and bad tasks that sales teams, product teams, marketing teams have to do, particularly to do with analytics, we can help them with by using AI to short circuit a lot of that work. So they can do the good stuff. They can work on the elements that will really close deals or grow the business. That's our focus, help our customers grow.
I love your philosophy of supercharging our team rather than replacing them. I'm curious your opinion. I keep hearing about these AI SDRs and AI remote calling. What's your opinion on that versus something? I think that the human touch and the human aspect is going to be a huge value add to companies that keep it around, right? Especially as we see more of these AI SDR teams built out. What is your opinion on that? And how do you think that gap will be between a sales team that continues to have human reps versus solely AI reps?
So, with regard to AI SDRs and that kind of thing, we are going to offer a blend of that kind of capability. The point is, I think some people are taking the view that it's cheaper and faster and better to use AI to solve this problem in its entirety. And I do not believe that. What I believe is we should have high quality SDRs. Those SDRs, maybe we need less of them, but those SDRs are trained to use their brain and their social skills to work with other humans who make decisions. Until the AI runs everything and makes all the decisions, in which case we won't need any sales or SDR anyway. The best thing to do, in my opinion, is to optimize the time of the SDR, make the SDR as effective as possible, take away the hassle of the things that we really don't need that human interaction for, right? We don't need the human to spend an hour doing research. We can do that for you. We don't need the human to call and call and call to try and get a JBR. We can do that for you. We don't need, right, the human to waste their time trying to book an appointment because we can make that convenient and easy for the prospect by using our AI tools. What does that mean? Well, that means that the SDR and the BDR and the account reps and the CS reps can spend their day with other humans doing the best they can to help them succeed. And when they do that, we'll get loyalty. And when we get loyalty, we get growth. We get sustainable growth in our business. That is my own philosophy. That's what I believe is the way to do this. And I don't think any prospect or customer minds if you use AI the right way. I'll use an analogy I think we all can associate with. When the day came that we decided to automate the phone, so we now have to spend an hour on the phone to send back our pair of shoes or whatever, because we have to use an automated person and then we get somebody in a foreign country that doesn't really speak our language, and we wait and we wait and we queue and we wait. This was meant to be better for us. AI is the similar analogy, right? I do not want, and I'm the CEO, people sell me all day, I do not want an AI talking to me. I don't mind the AI booking my calendar. That's cool. I don't mind the AI sending me some good stuff. That's cool. I don't mind the AI researching things for me. That's cool. However, when it comes down to having a negotiation, I want a human. I want to be able to ask them questions and talk to them. Don't get me wrong. We're going to use AI everywhere, all over the place. If I want to do a chat and query to figure out something, I don't mind doing that. That's fine. But when I'm negotiating a deal, particularly B2B or anything where I'm spending money, I need to ask probably questions the AI can't necessarily handle. And I'm a human. I may be old fashioned, but I think humans like to negotiate with humans. And so, again, going back to my point, I think it's a hybrid approach that will work. Use the AI to do the grunt work, use the humans to do the interactions and provide an amazing white glove service to the customer so they feel valued.
Great. It'll allow the hyper the humans to hyper focus on the human aspect and the AI to take off some of that busy work and admin work. That's amazing. Well, I think that's enough for us today, John. That was amazing. Thank you again for sitting down and talking with us, and we will catch you on the next one.
No problem.